We start off with what is a subaward, and it's an award that's provided from the pass-through entity. So if I'm at the University of Buffalo and I get an award, and I'm going to have Dr. Ann Holmes carry out part of the award at University of Maryland College Park, I'm going to issue her a subaward. So it's a flow through from the prime entity to the subrecipient. So the subrecipient is the non-federal entity that receives the funds from the prime recipient. So I want to make sure that people understand that subrecipient, subaward, subcontract, some people use these all synonymously, but the subaward is the award, the funds that channel through, and the subrecipient is a non-federal entity that receives the awards. And so then people are kind of thinking, well, how do I know if it's going to be a subrecipient, if it's going to be a subcontractor? I'm not really sure. And this is where you have to start breaking down what is the role of each entity and what would they be doing. So if the individual or the company or whomever you're doing the work with, if they're carrying out a goal that carries out a scope of the work of the grant, it's going to be a subrecipient. So for example, if I'm entering into an agreement with someone or a company, and their goal is to draw blood samples from individuals who have long COVID, and that's what they're doing. The research subjects go into the lab once a month, they draw their blood, and then they send the results in. That's going to be a vendor contractor agreement. There's not going to be anything other than that role to draw blood. So people, when you look at, what is it, if is it just the scope of work? What is it they're going to do? So usually they're going to have pragmatic work within the award. They're going to have something specific and some specific role on the research program, and it's going to be undertaken by their entity. And the research project is going to be within the research objectives of the proposal. They're not going to come up with their own. The proposal's coming in with research objectives, research aims, and they're going to be doing something within those aims. And the entity is going to participate in creative ways of designing or conducting the research. They're going to have an element of pragmatic control and discretion over how the work is going to be carried out. They're going to make independent decisions. They're going to have their own PI as a subrecipient, and they're going to be implementing part of the scope of work. They could also have a COI as part of the subrecipient contract or the agreement. And then there's an expectation that the entity is going to retain ownership rights, or they're going to have, they could have copyright materials, they could have patentable materials. They're going to have anything that was developed through the scope of work of the grant would belong to their intellectual property. There's going to be publications. They are going to co-author with the prime entity on any publications. And there could be cost sharing, there might not be cost sharing, but it's really, they have to follow the same guidelines as the prime, unless their particular institution's guidelines are more restrictive, then they're going to follow their institutional guidelines. So